Let's call grandma. You all plugged in? You have your questions and a piece of paper in case you need to write stuff?
Donna.
Hey, Mom, I sent you a third link. I just sent it because I couldn't, something was goofy about my other one.
Oh, okay, listen, I'm trying to view it on my
Just go to your email.
Yeah.
And then see, I think the title of the email is something like use this link or something like that. And then just click on it and it should do it. Hey, Evan, can you move all these drinks because this by the sink, because we don't want to ruin our computers. Yeah, good. That's much easier, right? This is the more permanent setup, so it's good that you have it now. Okay, Evan, come sit. Make sure that people can see you. Participants.
It says Melanie.
Okay. Okay, here are your questions. Do you want paper to jot notes in case you want to jot notes? Or are you just going to jot over there?
I'm gonna type in.
Okay, but right, make sure. Okay, good. Look, she's having trouble.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there she is. Your audio.
Is she chewing gum? Sue Wong.
Hello? Hi, Xiao.
Oh, my lady, terrible.
Oh, Auntie Sue home. Mom can't figure out her audio. How did you turn your audio on? Did you say use computer audio?
Yeah, when it turns on, it should have it. Try leaving and rejoining, Ma.
She
But-
probably can't hear us. Let me
Yeah.
text her.
Where's Cleo?
Where's Cleo? Oh.
Oh.
She's hungry. She wants some food. Okay. Okay. How was Thanksgiving, Ev?
I like that.
Yeah, looked like a lot of fun. There are so many pictures of you and Ashby running. How come you guys were running so much?
I don't know.
Just for fun?
We were just playing a game, and then there was like Ashby has a little cousin named Liam. But
Mhm.
sorry if I can't speak well. I have a retainer in.
Oh, that's okay. What did you say about Liam?
Well,
We get a
Well,
copy.
he was like basically we had to run away from him because we were playing like tag.
Oh, wait, did you say you were playing infection? Was you pretending somebody was sick?
Pretty much.
Oh, and Liam was the one who was infected?
Yeah, except
Auntie Sue, do you want to go skiing in January?
Oh,
January,
maybe.
January 2nd, we're gonna start driving to Utah. And we'll drive home on the 6th.
Oh,
Brian Head.
oh, sorry, I thought you were talking, Bryant Head is the name?
Yeah, it's pretty high elevation. I might get sick. I'm a little worried, but we'll see.
good. Good.
But Yu's family's gonna go, Anju's going.
Okay, can you hear us?
Can you hear
Oh,
us?
yeah, now he can hear it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
so,
Hey,
so
Jules.
I didn't
Hey.
So
understand.
listen up. This is
Yeah.
Zoom free. Listen, this is Zoom free, so it's gonna time out. So if you drop, just use the same link to rejoin.
Okay, okay,
You'll,
All right.
you can do it even after the time has expired.
okay, well, all right, as long as Jenny's here. Wait, so we looking for one person, right? Is that?
He can interview you first
Oh, he's
about
doing both.
yours, and then he can interview Dad about his.
Here's the thing, I was just I was chatting with Uncle Dan, texting with Uncle Dan about it. And, they go back so far, we don't really have a lot of information about that. I
Just
mean,
as much as you know. I mean,
All right.
Evan, it's just Evan has a set of questions to ask you.
okay.
All right, so who do you want to interview first? I told him a little bit, so he has some background. Okay, Evan, who are you gonna interview first?
I'm saying grandma.
Grandma first, okay?
Okay, honey.
Okay, what's
So,
your question?
So first one, you know who was the first family member to immigrate to the United States
And when?
and when?
so I'm gonna say it's my great grandfather. That means your oh my
Great
God.
great grandfather.
Yeah, it's my oh God, my great grandfather.
So-
And the only information I have is that he came to the United States via Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
So it was your great grandma.
My great grandfather. But that's all I know about. Now, his son, which would be my grandfather, came probably through San Francisco.
Evan, you should be taking notes.
And he was 21 years old when he came. And we're not sure, but the reason we think he did come was because a lot of the paperwork, like the births, the personal documents like birth certificates and probably entering the country stuff was lost in that 1906 earthquake in San Francisco.
So
Yeah,
So he that would be Yanni, that would be your grandfather's father. So that would be my
your grandfather.
my grandfather, yeah. And he was the one who lived upstairs in Queens on Jamaica Avenue. Anyway, I don't know that you
Oh,
need to
yeah.
know. Okay. Now,
So this is all grandpa's side of the family.
this is grandpa's side of the family. Oh, wait, yeah, do you want everybody? I mean, this is really
And what you know.
okay. Now, I figured this lineage is a little, maybe keeping to the lineage, I think might be more,
Yeah, it's
more-
less confusing for Evan because Evan doesn't even know. So Evan, she's talking about, remember the picture of the grandfather with the violin? The one that I told you brought everyone over to the United States?
Mhm.
This is his family.
Mhm.
I had told Evan that violin grandpa was the first, but what grandma is saying is that his father was the first, or his father's father?
his grandfather was the first.
Whoa, his grandfather came.
But he's,
actually.
but the only piece of information I have about that that man is that he came via Portland, and that's all I know.
What, and you don't know what he did?
Just
Don't know what he- You know, it was, yeah, I don't know what he did. You know, the Chinese in that period was mainly, you
Listen.
know, restaurant and laundry.
What, in
That's-
laundry?
Restaurants, working in
Restaurants and laundry?
Yeah.
Not, okay, well,
Okay, so then, okay, so So
wait,
I-
wait till Evan's done typing notes. What do you have written, Evan? What,
After I want.
no, what do you have written? Grandpa's great grandfather, so her grandfather's great
Grandma.
grandfather.
grandma's great grandfather.
No, don't erase everything. Don't erase everything. Okay, grandma's great grandfather.
Sorry.
Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are notes. And he came through Portland.
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon is north of California, right?
Off the Pacific.
Yanni,
Okay.
you're recording this?
Yeah.
Out.
And his son, next
Mhm.
sentence. His son also immigrated. His son probably wasn't born here, Evan. His son was somehow born in China. His son also came to the United States, but he came in through San Francisco. You don't have to write full sentences, just write his son, San Francisco. You know what that means?
Mhm.
You don't have to erase everything, just come on.
And he was 21 years old when he came.
Right, 21. 21 when he came, right? You'll remember that. 21 years old. Okay.
Mhm.
And the very first person, the one who came via Portland, is violin grandfather's grandfather.
Is violent, say, is my father's grandfather, yes.
Okay, so this great grandfather man, he's violin grandfather's grandfather. You understand?
This grandfather.
Right, the one who came through Portland is the grandfather of the man playing the violin.
And that is my great grandfather.
That
Well,
would,
yes, the man playing the violin is your great grandfather. I'll help you with that part later, but just so you kind of know, it's his family. And you know who that is? It's grandpa's dad was the one.
Oh.
Sorry, grandma's dad. Grandma's dad was playing the violin.
So for Evan, it would be, I don't know how many grades, 4 grades, 5 grades, I don't know.
We can figure that out later.
A grade. Okay, and then, so now his son is Yanni, your grandfather, right?
Well, the one that came through San
Through San-
Francisco's son.
Is your grandfather.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, he came to the United States in 1938 through Seattle.
Wait a minute, I thought you said it was through San Francisco.
No. Your grandfather's father came through San Francisco.
Okay, but grandpa came through, my grandfather
Came through
came
Seattle
Seattle. Oh,
in 1938.
violin grandpa came through Seattle, Evan.
In 1938. And so now I have
19, okay.
38. And when he came, he worked. Now, I don't know how he got from Seattle over to the East Coast, but when he came, he worked at the laundry of a family friend in Montclair, New Jersey.
Okay,
Okay, and
wait,
then
Evan, give Evan a chance.
Okay.
Evan, what notes do you have?
Grandma's great grandfather came and first, and he came to No Portland or I don't even know how to spell org.
Why don't you write us, he came through Seattle. So Portland, Oregon or Seattle? Seattle, right? Seattle, Washington.
Grandma's.
So this
No, no.
man, mom,
Fully-
that's me, right? That's mom, right? That's me. So
Mhm.
this is violin grandpa.
Violin grandpa came through
Why don't you call it
Seattle
violin grandpa? Because you know who violin grandpa is, right? Came through Seattle.
in 1938.
Give him time. Seattle, just write Seattle. You don't have to write full sentences. Okay, and then you can also write, then went to New Jersey and worked at a laundry, at a friend's laundry. Then write comma about New Jersey, friend's laundry.
Montclair, New Jersey. Okay.
Friend's laundry. You work there. Doesn't have to be correct spelling. And the city was Montclair, but I'll tell you about that later. Okay, then,
Then he entered the army. He joined the army in 1941.
Army, 1941, write that.
Now, should we just end there? I didn't get all the army details, but
That's fine.
I know he was discharged, honorable discharge in 43, just before Christmas, I think.
So he didn't fight in the war, he just trained in the army?
He was a Morse code. He decoded. He intercepted messages, and he didn't do some messages were intercepted, and then he decoded. He was able, because it was the messages were sent in Morse code,
Yeah.
and he decoded the message.
Oh, so it wasn't during the Korean War, it was
World War II.
It was World War II.
41.
Whoa, World War II, and for the United States Army.
Yes.
Wow.
And when he
World War II,
enlisted, they didn't know where to place him, but they knew he played violin and that he had a good ear for sound, so he could hear, high, low, and everything. So that they figured he might be good at, because Morse code is, what is it, dots and dashes or something?
Yeah.
Long
Mhm.
sound. So he was able to kind of hear the code and be able to kind of know. I don't know how letters. I don't know how Morse code works.
The
But
code
So
word-
he already played
Dot,
the
dash.
European violin.
He played a violin when he was a young boy. I don't know where. I think I want to say he was 12 years old when he got a violin. His uncle gave him the violin.
Okay, in China.
I guess. That I don't know.
What was his occupation in China?
Your grandfather, he was a kid, right?
Well, how old was he when he came to the United States?
Well, he came when he was in 38. Right off the top of my head, I think he was 17.
17
think-
years old.
Yeah, I think he was born in 1923, maybe. I get them. Your grandmother was 1927, so he might have been like 1922, 23.
Okay, so he didn't really have a profession then as a
No, he
17
was a kid. Yeah, he was
Okay.
a kid. So he enlisted, and then he got discharged in 43, I believe.
Okay.
And, yeah, but it was very interesting because I'm so sorry, I can't remember all the details. Because he told me, for training, they sent him to New Jersey to learn how to shoot. He went to he learned how to use a pistol or some kind of a weapon, a gun. I don't know what kind of gun, but he trained in Fort Lee, New Jersey. No, I don't know. He trained somewhere in New Jersey for a couple of weeks, and then they shipped him to, was it Seattle?
Burma.
No. They shipped him to the West Coast where they deployed him. He was like Seattle or I don't know where, either Portland or Seattle, somewhere on the West Coast. And they gave him his assignment, and he was actually in a submarine. He was sent to Burma. He was sent to Burma, and he was in a group. There were 3 submarines in the group, and he was very lucky, Evan. The other 2 submarines didn't make it, but his did.
Didn't make it home?
The other submarines, I guess, I don't know what happened, but they didn't make it out, but he did. His submarine made it.
Okay, what notes do you want? Submarine went to Burma.
I know he got shipped from the West Coast. And I guess, I don't know where he picked up, where he got into the submarine. I don't know where, but anyway, something like
Burma's
that.
in Asia, Southeast Asia. But I'll tell you that later. So 3 submarines, right? Just write 3. You'll remember 3 subs, right? 3 subs.
Burma is now called,
Myanmar,
yeah, Myanmar. The Sun Young.
near Vietnam.
Sun Young Su Chi or somebody. is the
Okay,
name.
Evan, do you have enough notes on that?
Mhm.
It's code decoder, World War II, very good. Learn how to use a gun, New Jersey. Learned at the guns in New Jersey, right? And then 3 submarines went to Burma.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Now what?
Are you done with him? Because then you don't need grandma, how he brought grandma.
So what's your next question, Evan? Does that answer it? Who was the first and when? So you got those answers, right? So which family members, go ahead.
Which family members came along and who stayed behind?
All the men, I believe all the men came by themselves and they left their families behind. The purpose of all these men coming, the purpose of why they came was to come here to make money and then send money back home for the family. They called in China, they called the United States Golden Mountain, right? Gum Sun.
San.
No, Gum Sun.
San.
Gum Sun. Gum is gold. Sun is mountain. The Gold Mountain. And I don't know if that Gold Mountain is related to, the 49, what is it, the finding gold in California.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's related to that. I mean, I don't know if that's why, or if they just called it that because they knew they could make money here and ship it back.
Okay, so they sent money home to China.
That was
Okay.
the purpose of all of them coming. I mean, the main purpose, they never planned to stay. They only wanted to come make money, send money home to their families. And that was it. They had no plans on to stay.
Okay, Evan, next question.
Okay,
So
number
they
3.
came by themselves. Mhm.
What was the port of entry? What was the journey like?
So
Well, the
you
port-
heard the port of entry already.
Would be those cities, right?
Yeah, she said Portland, Oregon was one man, San Francisco was another, Seattle was the other. You don't need to rewrite that. You already have it above. You already wrote it up there. See, Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco. You have those written, but you want to know what it was like. Did they ever tell you what it was like? What was the journey like? What was the journey like?
Couldn't have been easy. I don't know. I
Don't
honestly
know. Okay, don't know. Okay, next question.
I can say that life here was not easy. I can say for Yanni, your grandfather, they were very, very poor. At some point, yeah, they were very, very poor because at some point, he was with his own father and they were so poor that the only thing they could afford to eat was cabbage. And he ate cabbage so often that he never ate it again afterwards. I remember, and the reason I know that is when we were living in Brooklyn with Auntie Gat, I made like a corned beef and cabbage because it was, some Irish St. Patrick's Day thing. And your grandmother told me, "Oh, I don't think your father's going to eat it," she said to me. And I said, "Why?" She said, he ate so much cabbage in his youth, every single day, every single meal, that he swore he would never eat cabbage again.
But life must have been worse in China because they decided to come here, right? I mean, or no?
I don't know. No, well, actually, I don't think they were not poor in China. They were, especially especially my mother's family had money, and but his family didn't have as much money, but they weren't poor there. I think they had compounds and stuff. They had I know your grandmother had maidens, servants who helped. They had servants. Your grandmother, and Aku, you know, Lily's mother was your grandmother's best friend. I don't think your grandfather's family, Aku, didn't have as much, but I don't think they were like poor.
So it was a gamble to come to the US. They thought there was opportunity.
Yes, they really thought, I think it was like culture shock when everyone was like shocked when they came that they found, oh no, this isn't, I mean, you really had to work your butt off.
So it was a lie.
Yeah. Well, it was the dream, the bubble burst, you know, I mean, it was the bubble burst. It wasn't what they thought it was, but it was also for your grandfather, Yanni, it was during the Depression too, right? Right? Because he came in 38. The Depression was what, 39, 40? No, 20s. What am I talking about?
Earlier.
Depression, 20s. Yeah. So, all right. So he was here post-Depression. But it was still, I mean, 38. Your dad was born in 39. So was it very poor in 1939?
Who, my grandfather?
No, in this country, economically.
Yeah, economically, my family was poor in
No,
39.
economically, the year you were born in 1939, was it very poor here in the United States?
We were considered poor, yeah.
Oh, okay, he's not getting, understand my question.
Don't worry about it.
Right. So that's your is that enough for him?
Is that enough, Evan, for that?
For
Or
the-
you have,
What's your next question?
this one?
Yeah, what were the reasons for leaving one's home country?
okay, we answered that, right?
So,
To make-
do you have the answer? What are you gonna write for number 4? What was the reason that they left their home country?
Well, for Grandpa's side, I'm pretty sure they were poor.
No, I just asked her if they were poor. She said they
Oh.
weren't that poor. Were you listening?
I was trying to.
Why did they,
Repeat it.
you ask and you listen. You ask why again, and you listen to her answer.
Okay, so what were the reasons? As for leaving one's home country and immigrating to the United States?
They wanted to come here to make money and to send it back home to China to support his family. Right? You understand what that means, honey? He making money here to send it back home so that his family would have more money to spend. Yeah, that's a good point. Much money, but I guess you know, big families, you know, you have maybe families living together, you know, I don't know. But that was the reason.
They came to make money and send it back home with no living, right, with no intention to stay. And my
Yes.
question was, and then grandma said, but when he was here, Evan, in New York, he was eating cabbage every day because he didn't have any money here. And I said,
That was-
oh,
All they could
I
afford.
yeah, that's all they could afford when they were living in the United States. And I said, well, life must have been better here than in China, because why would they decide to come to the United States if there's no money to be made in the United States? Because I said they must have been poor in China to pick the United States over China. And her answer was, are you listening? Don't type, just listen. Did you hear what her answer was? She said, well, actually,
They're poor in the United States.
yeah, in China, they weren't that poor. They had land.
Mhm.
And so I said, so why did they come? Because they must have thought that they could make a lot of money in the United States, and they were wrong.
Mhm.
They
Evan-
thought they could make a lot of money in the United States, but they
Here's
were
an
wrong.
Here's an important thing for you to put in your notes. In China, they called the United States the land of the Golden Mountain.
Just listen and understand.
They thought there was gold, you could find gold here in this country. And so that's why they all thought they could come and make money and, you know, they thought it would be an easier way to make money and send it home.
But it wasn't easy. They were
Wasn't
wrong. They had the wrong belief.
I think just thinking that they called it Golden Mountain says a lot, right?
It's kind of like gambling, Evan. You think you can win, you're not sure, but you're going to take a chance and try. And then you come, you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought.
Mhm.
You
It was a
understand?
tough,
Mhm. 。
tough. 。
Okay, you will remember that. 。
I think, I think just thinking that they thought it was, they called it Golden Mountain says a lot, right?
Okay, you will remember that.
Okay, all right. good.
They
I
took a
think-
gamble. There you go. That's done. Number 5.
What's your fifth question?
All the names of the cities and towns to which your family immigrated.
We did that
Well,
already.
Yeah, so basically where they landed and they ended up in New York.
So they came into the port, but then they all went to New York. Just write New York.
And in terms of why New York, it's like somebody knew somebody who knew somebody. You know what, you know what that means?
She's trying to explain to you why they ended up in New York.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
people back in China would say, my nephew is in New York. When you go, look him up and, you can become friends. He can show you around or whatever, like it's like that. So, they don't know the person very well. I mean, that person could be a friend or a relative of somebody that they know in China. So it's just that, when they get here, there's at least somebody that they know something about. And that's why they came here.
That's why they ended up in New York. Someone knew someone knew someone in New York, right?
Mhm.
That's like Kai saying, Evan, if you ever go to Hawaii and you're all by yourself, you can look up my cousin. He lives in
Right.
this town. You just give him a phone call and maybe he can show you around. So then for some reason you end up in this place in Hawaii. That's how
In
they
fact,
all ended up in New York.
in
Alright.
fact, I think
Okay,
that's how.
we're gonna run out soon, so you're just
Oh,
gonna
okay.
have to fill in.
Okay, any more? Am I done, or is there another one for me?
What's the next
Number 6,
question?
right? Number 6?
Number 6. What occupation did your immigrant family member have when they first arrived? I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so the only one we know for sure is the one who worked at the laundry in New Jersey. My father.
Laundryman, you're right. You're laundryman.
Laundryman, violin grandfather. In that time, when Chinese came to the United States, they either worked in a laundry or worked in a restaurant. Because that's what they knew how to, I mean, they cooked basically how the restaurant thing was, they wanted to eat their own food. So, they always cooked what they would eat at home. But I remember that's how San Francisco started. They would eat whatever they eat at home. But then some of the Westerners kind of started eating some of what they ate, and that's how restaurants came about. They found a way to make a living by opening a restaurant. But that was down the line. Okay, so is that it for now? You ready for your grandpa?
So number 7. Evan,
Oh,
go
there's
ahead.
more?
What cultural practices and traditions have survived over the years?
Oh, I would say Chinese New Year celebration. Well, you know about Chinese New Year celebration, right? The Chinese don't. We have that, and we have I think they call it the August moon. I don't know the name of it per se. I don't want to. There's one where they bake moon cakes, and I don't know who the warring factions were, but the
Lunar New Year?
but in order to
Maybe.
communicate, yeah, but in order to communicate amongst themselves, like maybe from one community to the next, you can't, you're being watched and you can't openly, communicate with your neighbors. So what they would do is they would bake these cakes, and in the cakes they would bake messages. They would put messages in the cake and bake them, and and that was how they. And it could be, it could be messages. Maybe they're conferring about maybe banding together to, be a faction to oppose, whatever. I don't know, but that was what they did. That was how they communicated. They would put these. It's also like fortune cookie. You know how a fortune cookie, you bake a thing. So I think that was, and I think this is in August. They do this. That's one, and then there's another one, and I don't know what the occasion is. The leaves wrapped in the rice wrapped in the banana leaves, and
Yeah.
the leaves.
Stone.
Yeah, they do that every year too. That's still around today. I don't recall what the significance is of that I think is a happy occasion. I don't know. I don't know what the significance is, but that's a big one. A lot of it is related to food. I'll say that. A lot of the cultural things are related to food. But during the new year they have the dragon and
Yeah, but we don't do that. We don't do that.
we don't do
We
that.
don't we don't really participate in these things, Evan, but those are important traditions.
We do Chinese New Year. Well, you don't, but when I was a kid,
Grandmothers,
Grand-
grandmother
grand-
did as a kid.
and what they do is for the New Year's table, they always put out tangerines and oranges because it's symbolic that they are symbols to bring good luck and and then what is it? Red is for wealth, maybe? I don't know. Everything is symbolic.
Okay, move on.
Okay. If you immigrated to the United States, what is your name and where are you born?
Not applicable.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
no, the rest of it is not applicable to us because it's all about people who were born here, right? Well, who are not born
Yeah.
here, right?
Oh, heirlooms, Mom. At some point, you can bring that up and the pictures that you have. I don't have that book with Grandpa in them that Uncle Dan
Oh,
made.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe Jen can send me photos.
Okay. All right. I
Snap
know.
photo of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're actually
And the
is
Uncle Roger photo, whatever that you were talking about for Dad.
Dad and Uncle Roger. Yeah, he says he didn't think it was hot, but okay.
Oh, you know what? Wait, hang on. Let me see if I can get a screenshot of you because you're supposed to take a snapshot of the interviewee. How do I print screen?
You want me to answer something?
No, not yet. You should go take a picture of me first. So that would be my family.
Copy to clipboard and save. Select here to mark up and share.
Actually, would you believe that my mother actually had a grandfather who came and he's actually buried at Cypress Hills.
Wait. Who had it? Who had what?
My mother's grandfather. I didn't know she had a grandfather who came to the United States. that
Your
early.
mother's grandfather?
Dad, we calculated that could have been like, what could be? I don't know, Revolutionary War days? No, that couldn't be, but
He came to the US and did what?
All I know is he's buried at Cypress Hill Cemetery.
Oh, well, we were looking at the internet and I think Chinese started coming in the 1860s.
There would be Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe.
So
I mean, I don't know with this great grandfather. I don't know. I mean, if your grandfather came in 38, his grandfather would have been, I don't know. It could be. It could be. When was the Exclusion Act and all of that stuff?
1860 something, 1800s too. I can't remember.
Yeah, because there must have been a lot of them here. That's when they put up that they didn't want that many Chinese coming in, so they did that Exclusion Act, right? That was
Right.
1860.
I
When
think
was
so.
When were the railroads built? 1800s, right? The transcontinental 1840s? Dad, when was the Transcontinental Railroad built? The Transcontinental Railroad, the
Transcontinental Railroad.
that the Chinese built.
Around
1860.
1860.
Oh, 1860. Okay, so there were a lot of Chinese here then. That's when the Exclusion Act is what? Is what year? That Chinese Exclusion Act?
The Exclusion Act was in vogue. So,
What year?
but in the mid 1930s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, there were a lot of Exclusion Acts, but the
Early
earlier
19
one was 1800s. We have the dates
Early
somewhere.
1900s, they got tired of the Chinese coming into this
There were a
country.
lot of Chinese.
Too many came,
Okay, so you better get going with
so they
the-
made the Exclusion
I'm
Act.
done with that.
So
but-
you're gonna have to redial in.
That
Why don't
changed.
Wait a minute. What was the number 12? The family heirlooms and keepsakes.
We're gonna send them. Right? Is that what you said? I'll send some pictures.
Candace, where are they?
Oh, I have them here. When do you need them? Let me see. I'll get them, I'll round them up and, send them by, tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll have your uncle again. I'll find the album and, I know there's a picture, I think it's the great grandfather. He's sitting in a chair in a courtyard in China, in his family home, and it's a big wooden chair. It's almost like a throne kind of a chair, wooden chair, and he's got his arms like that. But we have pictures of your grandfather, Yanni's grandfather, your violin grandfather, violin man in army uniform.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, yeah, we have that. Okay, all right, shall I give you to your dad? Evan, should I
Yeah.
give you to grandpa? Okay, grandpa. Evan's gonna ask you,
Okay.
okay?
Hang on. Okay.
Wait a second, wait a minute, what?
Wait, let me
Yeah.
just, hey, Michael. Hey, can I call you back in a little bit? Oh. Okay, all right. Okay, bye. Okay,
Okay,
Very long meeting time.
how much do we have?
Good.
Mom, you're probably gonna have to recall in
We're
because
trying to turn
all
this.
right, wait a second.
less than 1 minute left.